Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Good Enough Gaming Podcast. This week's episode is entitled "Nervous About the Service," and I would say, what a time to be alive as a gamer. With the three big players have all established online services now. In the case of Xbox and PlayStation, at least, like a pretty significant catalog of games. We'll get into talking shit about Nintendo in a bit. As we do. Obviously, we have our take on who's winning the race at this front, but we'll obviously offer our opinions on not only the services themselves, but the games they offer, the accessibility, and that sort of thing. So join us this week as we break down the highs and the lows of these services and who we think is sitting atop the podium. Hope you got some high-speed internet, because you'll put it to work. I know I looked back actually when PS Plus Extra came out and the amount of like random stupid ass games we were downloading to try, and my monthly, like I have unlimited download, but my monthly cap was like way higher than previous months because it's just like, oh, that game's just a gig, it's fine, there's 20 gigs, there's 40 gigs, and all of a sudden it's like 200 or 300 gigs more than I'm usually downloading. And to just like try a game for 30 minutes and be like, no, this is garbage.
What, you mean like Friday the 13th didn't hold it for you?
Lawn mowing simulator was too complex for a controller.
This is a tough one.
Oh,
I mean, this is like it's like a Steam sale on drugs.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, instead of $1, it's literally free. So
yeah. You're not obligated to play it to get your money's worth.
Yeah.
It's like, no, this is fucking weird. Like I downloaded a game called Blasphemous. For a while there, I was like really into like the side scroller roguelike kind of shit because Dead Cells was just so good, and I've talked about that ad nauseum. But I found this other one, and it was just so weird. I think it
knockoff.
Oh, it was like like Dark Souls boss weird sometimes with like some of the stuff. I was just like, I'm out. I put in like 30 minutes to an hour. It's like, yep, tap out.
Yeah, I'm good.
There was also, what was the other one? Was it Graveyard? It was like Graveyard Maintenance Simulator or something.
Wait, what?
I don't know. It was this like pixely game that looked kind of fun.
No Goat Simulator?
Very morbid.
No, I did not go with the Goat Simulator. Did you guys have a quirky one that you stumbled upon, either Xbox or PlayStation? Because Nintendo's whatever.
The one weird one that we all ended up playing actually a couple times was Ready Set Heroes.
Yeah, which is good. It's a good game.
It was like just like a fun pick it up with your buddies kind of game. That was surprising.
The first round we played where it was all like it was individual dungeon crawling. And then whatever gear you had, you fought against each other. And
that was funny.
I fucking rolled you guys with the double daggers. It wasn't even fair. It was stupid. No. I'm just like zipping through. And...
You're so fast. Nobody could even do anything.
Yeah.
That
was just like abusing. That was just like abusing the character. That was like the character build meta of like, this is the most premium character build.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna roll everybody. It's just like, this is stupid.
I had a great time.
I hate it.
Kyle definitely did some research before he played and just rolled us.
Yeah, definitely did. Yeah.
Lying sack of shit.
Yeah. Looked up some meta builds. There's a couple YouTubers with like bars all the way across and then screaming with explosions.
Wait, am I in Call of Duty?
Yeah, is this Warzone?
Sorry, wrong episode.
Where am I?
That was last week.
Yeah.
The one weird one that I tried, but it was actually on Game Pass a couple years ago, was a game called Hello Neighbor. I don't know if you guys have ever
I've heard
seen the artwork for that.
It seems really strange.
I thought you were going to say Hello Kitty Island Adventure.
This is Jordan, not Butters.
Right.
Yeah, it was a 50-50 toss-up, but I chose the other one. But yeah, that game is super weird. It's unique. The AI in that game learns from every decision you make, and then like tries to prevent you from doing it again. Yeah. So, but it's super weird. The art style is creepy as shit. This like pedophile looking neighbor chases you all the way out to the street. Like it's fucking bizarre. It's probably one of the weirdest ones I've ever tried.
Daryl?
On Game Pass, I got really into a game called 2 Point Campus. So it's kind of like The Sims or like Sim City, but you're building universities and you're like hiring teachers and janitors and like food staff.
Roller coaster tycoon of education.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it's actually it was like whatever. Like I'll give it a go. It's actually really good, and I was like, how is this going to work on console like that? It just didn't seem like it would go very well. It's actually really fluid. It surprised the shit out of me.
Because I tried. There was a roller coaster simulator that came out on
Planet Coaster.
Yeah,
Planet Coaster was not great.
No, it did not translate well.
No,
I played that on PC.
This game
wasn't bad, but that's
this game
because
isn't so complex that it gets lost in that, and there's no like make this shape of this roller coaster or like. You don't have to do that shit. You're just dragging and making the right size of the room, putting the objects in like you do in The Sims, like when you put your house together, and and just like hire people and let them do their job. It's actually sick.
Wouldn't that be nice if they just hired people? And
you hear that, corporate America?
Job?
Yeah. It's so nice not micromanaging. You just hire people to do a good job, and they either do it or they don't. This is it.
Except you're
Who
like
would have thought?
God managing.
Yeah. So
It's
obviously, yeah, okay. 2 Point Academy,
2 Point Campus.
Campus.
I think they have
Close
a couple versions of it because I think there's also like
2 Point Hospital.
Yeah, there's Hospital.
I played the Hospital one, and it was fun, different.
Yeah.
So there's so much like management I could do before it's like, okay, this is just work again.
I
don't know if it's like your ADHD could handle it.
Definitely not.
Bring back SimCity with like natural disasters and aliens and like.
Yeah, let me bring Bowser in to destroy my city.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't want to play it.
Yeah.
So obviously we've all had some good experiences with the subscription services. The original one was Xbox Game Pass, right? Because that came out like years before Extra or like the PS Plus like really sort of molded itself into what it is now. Because for a while there, PS Plus was just like, here's your few free games a month and that's it. Whereas Xbox was like, very, very hit or miss. I mean, there's been some like solid games out of it, but I feel like Xbox is a lot more, like it's situated itself a lot better because of, the access not only through the Xbox, but also the ability to access stuff on PC as well.
Yeah.
Right. Oh yeah. Like 100%. Xbox has a premier service offering in that regard.
Yeah.
Like when you're getting 2 or 3 possible titles from PlayStation per month, but you have a plethora available to you at all times. That's constantly, some games are leaving, new stuff is coming in, some day one releases on
that's the biggest one.
That's huge. Like that's massive. And no other service does that. Like
no, I think like PS Plus did that, but I think the only only hyped game that they've done that with was Stray, which is a 6-hour indie game.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like you're not getting the like I just saw Callisto Protocols going onto Game Pass, right?
Yeah.
Like that's a pretty relatively big game.
Yeah,
it's a AAA game for sure.
Yeah,
and I don't think Stray gets nearly as much attention either if it's not day one on Extra.
I
definitely helps. Yeah.
I think that game gets skipped by a whole bunch of people.
Well, the internet did hype that up because you are playing a cat, so like there's a whole
there's
other level of
that's
weird, like social media stuff that just like enhances that game.
Everyone that has
Yeah.
cat ears was definitely playing that game.
If they weren't, then they're
Yeah.
You're a sham.
lying.
If they didn't have the cat headphones, they absolutely had thigh high socks at minimum. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But,
I just for comparison's sake, I did a little bit of like looking. Like the Xbox Game Pass started June 1st, 2017.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, so
And
they've got a 5-year head start.
Exactly. They have a 5-year head start. Like PlayStation did push with their like the PS Plus collection for people that bought the PS5, which was, I mean,
Yeah.
very
good.
That was nice too. That was a good.
It was a
It's
good
good
gesture.
start to a new console.
It was a good entry, but then they like PS Plus, like the new PS Plus has only been out since June.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
We're
what
coming
I
up
mean,
on like 6 months to it.
like the nice thing about PlayStation doing that too was there wasn't very many games available for PS5 when it had launched. Everything was so far behind in development because of COVID. So, like that was a good idea to get everyone kind of in, and then really
Point.
probably gave them some information on like, wow, this did so well. Like,
Yeah. And what
let's
games
really
people
push
are
in.
into.
Yeah.
Let's really push into our online service. And like obviously Xbox has been fucking killing it before that. So
And I mean, like Nintendo Switch Online started in 2018, but I feel like it hasn't really been as much of a factor,
well, it's different. Like
ROMs.
It's
just
a
ROMs.
different, and like I think it's just a different service in general.
Yeah.
I mean, it helps with Nintendo. It's cheap, and they've got a family plan, and like I think, I think I paid $20 a month, or sorry, $20 a year, for that service. So. For the $20, it's like, yeah, sure. If I want to sit down and play an old NES game or a Super Nintendo game, then it's like, sure, it's there. But like if Nintendo were to come out and say, for the $17 a month, like Xbox Game Pass, this is what you get, I'd be like, fuck off. No, thank you. like
Not good enough.
it's a waste. Yeah, it's a waste of my time, right? So it's apples and oranges in my mind.
It definitely like caters to the classic gamer of like, hey, I own a Switch.
Yeah.
Us in Canada, I can't go buy an N64 now unless I want to spend $500 just for the console and a controller. But like I'm looking at this, like the N64 list is actually pretty decent. Like it's kind of the top 20.
Yeah, it's slowly expanding though, isn't it?
Yeah.
that's what's so weird to me about it is like it's great that they have the separate ROMs. You have the different like services. So you have the original Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, like all that stuff. I heard that there's Game Boy stuff coming, like actual Game Boy Color stuff, which would be awesome.
Are they doing GameCube too?
GameCube would be huge, but
I mean, they haven't said anything, but that would be huge because GameCube games are the most expensive third party.
and the hardest to
like-
find.
So little.
Yeah. It's really expensive to
Like that'd be massive.
retro.
But like, if you're gonna have the regular Nintendo like emulator essentially as your service, like have every game available to it.
Yeah.
Like they're so small. Like
Yeah, the file sizes are not big.
the size is so
kilobytes.
tiny. Like
Yeah, don't
Just have
piecemeal your
everything.
catalog. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's why
Help
they
me
sold
ignore. I was gonna say, help me ignore all the problems with your new games because your console isn't powerful enough, and like just let me play everything from like the 80s and the 90s.
and today.
and today, yeah. Well,
Silent
that's what
Casey.
blows my mind. It's like, why are they releasing stuff in waves or like slowly doing things or cycling in and out games on that service for those generations? Like NES, SNES, like you should have a 200 to 300 game catalog in each one of those and go from there.
Easily.
Because otherwise, like, what's the alternative? It's like, I can't buy this. Like, okay, I'm just gonna go download ROMs online. Like, if I really want to play this game, it's like, well, you're just missing out on profit now because
I'm just going to go set up a Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
Well, that's the big thing is like Nintendo is notoriously the worst as far as making their games accessible after a generation.
Oh yeah.
Like to try and go back. Yeah. Like the 3DS is a perfect example. They've shut down the digital game stores.
Yeah.
So that you can't go and buy games digitally anymore, and then, to Trevor's earlier point, if I want to play, like a previous Pokemon title, I have to go on Facebook Marketplace and find a guy that's not selling it for $150, which is almost impossible.
Yeah.
Or I've got one saved on Amazon right now where it's like, I know it's some guy who ripped a bunch of ROMs onto a Nintendo cartridge, and it's got like 50 games on it.
Exactly.
It's like, I can finally play Pokemon Soul Silver because apparently you only sold 5 copies of it and then fucking vaulted it. Like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, so that's the shittiest thing with Nintendo and like Wii games are really hard to find, and none of their shit's backwards compatible either.
I was just gonna say that, like, literally the only thing that went backwards compatible was the Game Boy Advance to original Game Boy. Like,
you can put all the different cartridges in.
That is the only back compatible thing they've ever had. Like, you can't play anything on anything else.
I have seen there's apparently someone did like a full, like, you know how you used to like outfit your Game Boy with like Game Gear and like make this transformer. There's a bunch of that shit for the GameCube, and you could play Game Boy Advance games on the GameCube, and it was like a whole add-on.
There was like a little extra stack on top.
I didn't even know
thing on the bottom.
It's like this was never advertised. I would have bought one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Just
you can also buy a screen for the GameCube that attaches
Didn't there used to be like a
turns it portable,
like a briefcase for like the PlayStation or something? Or like Xbox had one where it was like a carrying case with like a
it was like a generic one that could do that could do either.
I remember
it just
those.
had the screen in it. It was like, this is business, buddy. This is business.
I think Xbox is definitely the king as far as making things functional and easy across generations. As well as, going back to Game Pass, like, you've got a lot of day one titles and some pretty good third-party stuff, but you've also got a ton of Xbox 360 titles on there too. So if you wanted to go back and play some of those, you don't have to meet a shady guy in an unmarked white van in an alleyway. Like, you can just fucking play digitally.
He's got
free puppies animals.
I sent Bender for some candy a week ago and he hasn't come back. So I mean, it's kind of good, right?
That's rough.
Maybe he was just barking up the wrong tree. So I know you guys like picked up Game Pass like solely for Forza. Was that that was?
So I ended up. So Jordan got Game Pass for Forza. I ended up getting that. Like, when I got my Xbox, there was this crazy deal at GameStop at the time, and where if I traded in my old PS4, like my standard original release
OG
PS4, I got $300 credit Canadian. I was like, this is a joke. This is not real. And
this should not be worth this much.
I called in the guy. I was like, yeah, you probably want to come do that right now. Like, we're gonna have so many of these things. We're gonna run. This deal's not gonna run all weekend. And I was like, okay, I'm there. So like I couldn't believe it. So I ended up getting a bundle. That was the caveat. You had to get the Xbox, a game, and a controller, like, as extra. It was like a whole big thing. And I was like, yeah, fuck it. Like, of course.
Fuck me up. Yeah.
So I was, like, if I got one, I was going to get all this other stuff anyway. So that's how I got Forza. But Game Pass is legit, like, and was an easy sell for me. I got to play all the Halo games, Gears of War. I got Fable downloaded right now, like, ready to go.
Fable's always a good time.
Yeah, the entire Halo collection from 1 to 74 is on there.
It's all there.
It's
great. Hey,
I just turn on Halo and just leave it on the menu just for the music.
Yeah, exactly.
It's ambient, like, background noise to sleep with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty telling what 5 years can do for you. Because like, if you look at the entry lineup for Game Pass in 2017, there were a couple decent titles on there, but as a whole, it was pretty booty cheeks. It was a lot of Xbox 360 stuff. It was a lot of throwback titles. So like the argument of the launch lineup for PS Extra, as it stood in August, and people were like, "Oh, this is shitty compared to Game Pass," and all this stuff. Like,
give it a minute.
I mean,
give him a second.
Can you compare a 5-year-old service to to like a brand new service? Like, I don't think you
compare
can.
a 5-year-old to a newborn baby. Like, there's going to be some differences.
I was gonna say, your new car is a lot better than my Pontiac. Like, let's be serious.
Yeah,
your Pontiac is more than 5 years old, though.
Yeah, it's a collectible.
Yeah,
It's collectible.
it's vintage, Kyle. Vintage.
It's not rust. That's vintage.
By the way, he drives a Pontiac Torrent, so
Better than an Aztec.
yes.
That monstrosity.
Not by much, but just enough.
Just enough. Just enough.
Just enough that you can brag about it.
Trevor, can you camp in your trunk?
In this one, yes. Not when I had a smaller Pontiac that we.
Pontiac vibe.
Yeah, we had.
No, we tried.
That was not a vibe.
No,
It was not the vibe.
no, it's not.
All right. So speaking of a vibe, and in the spirit of us facing off these different subscription services, maybe Daryl can take a break for a minute and give us the first fantasy face-off of the new season.
Baby.
Oh, he has given us nothing about this so far.
Yeah, I'm
No
excited.
spoilies this year.
I know.
Nothing.
I
Nothing.
want spoilies, damn it.
We're going in
Nothing.
fresh. Going in
Nothing.
fresh.
Fantasy Face Off. Fight.
All right, so I thought I'd go off with a pretty big, heavy-hitting combo to start off the year or this season with a battle of the female characters this time. And two strong female leads, complete badasses, franchise players.
Oh, can I?
You know what's coming.
I want to guess. I want to guess. Can I guess?
Yeah. Okay, go, guess.
Aloy and Lara Croft.
Oh, close.
That's what I was going to say too.
Close.
Actually,
Close. Aloy is one of them.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Aloy, Forbidden West versus Samus from Metroid Prime.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Oh.
Futuristic, strong, badass ladies taking on all kinds of stuff. What are your picks, gents? What do we think? Aloy, crafty, some sort of like pseudo genius, rebuilding.
Very, very saucy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
very
wish
sassy.
Samus talked more, because it's like, if this is like a battle of wits, Aloy wins because she's
Yeah.
just
Aloy just talks
Yeah.
to her.
so
Samus
sweet,
very
yeah.
stoic, very
Yeah.
like mysterious, but like fucks shit up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Big time.
I'm gonna say Aloy.
Okay.
Number one, she's gonna move in 3 dimensions.
It's 2020.
Samus is in Smash Bros. It's fine.
That's like 2 1/4 dimensions.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, no big deal.
She moves on a 3-way axis. You know.
There was a 3D Metroid game on GameCube.
I
Oh.
feel like Aloy has a lot more like problem solving as far as like defeating these giant mech, animal monster things. She can dissect it. She's got her
Focus.
that's the one. No, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying my best, Trevor. That's an ADHD joke.
Sorry, you mean her futuristic cell phone? That is.
Yes, her futuristic cell phone, the Focus.
Or Bluetooth.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so she
there you
can analyze things and find its weak points, and has like a multitude of different weapons for different capabilities. I think Aloy is going to be able to problem solve it around Samus, just like sitting there charging up her arm blaster.
Kind of weak ass Mega Man shit is that?
Yeah.
Oh, those are fighting
Oh, boy.
words. There's going to be another fight in Fantasy Face Off today. It's going to be between Jordan and Trevor.
Don't be bringing my blue bomber into this conversation. He did nothing to you.
Oh man.
I got to go with Samus. I think. I think just the weaponry, the movement, and the abilities
To curl into a tiny ball.
To curl into a tiny ball, you know, go
Poop
go
out a bomb.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I mean, what else do you need, right?
You heard it here. Samus poops bombs.
But
Say girls
I
don't
think
poop,
I think
She drops
Samus
some
would.
bombs.
okay, let him finish.
No.
Oh, crazy. I think Samus would be able to find a way to like EMP Aloy's focus, or at least bitch slap it off of her head or something. I don't know, but like she fights aliens from across universes and stuff. You know, robot dinosaurs are nothing. So I go with Samus.
Trevor?
well, if someone charges in here and then like my camera goes black, it's because my wife came in and like murdered me. I think I got to agree with Jordan.
Yes.
I think just the futurism
bullshit.
aspect, like if you were to put Samus into a game, an open 3D world game like Horizon, I think with like the capability of weapons, like stuff like that, and movement, because you know Aloy gets stuck on like every crack and crevice.
Every fucking rock possible.
Every
Yeah.
grain of sand is apparently a rock. I think I got to go Samus just based off of like even more technology.
Yeah.
You know what they say? Don't bring a bow and arrow to a rocket gun arm fight.
Yeah, exactly. Essentially, Kyle, to put this into your Marvel brain, this is Hawkeye against Iron Man.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Does that change your mind at all?
Get your curved stick out of here, you dumb bitch.
Oh god. I like where you went with it, Kyle. I do think that she's going to find some weaknesses. I think it'd be a really good fight. I think it would last a while. I think they would have a good battle.
It would be the length of a Dragon Ball Z episode for sure.
Like 4 episodes would be.
Yeah.
Just one whole episode of charging up.
One fight. Yeah.
One
Yeah.
whole episode of Samus charging her arm.
And now back from commercial break.
And they blew up the planet.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, so back to the subscription service talk, because obviously you're both wrong.
Kyle lost again.
I think I have like one win. I think I have one.
Hold on.
Oh
It's okay,
god, he's
Kyle.
going to his notes.
My wife agrees with you, Kyle.
I know.
Okay, what do we have here?
He's got it written down. Did you
No.
write down the winners too?
Yeah, I did.
Oh my god.
No, you have
You got 2.
4 wins.
No.
4? Yeah, you do.
It feels like a lot less for some reason.
You have Ryu, who beat Jin. You have Deadpool, that beat Deathstroke. You have Kratos, that beat Spawn. And you have Nightmare, that beat Kilgore.
Those two
got
middle
4.
ones are horse shit, by the way.
None of us are biased about anything.
I'm still upset about those.
Okay, so I'll be less salty then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we've almost started every season with a loss for you.
Gotta start somewhere.
Of course.
Yeah. Can only go up from there, right?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh my god. So speaking of like wins and losses, looking at our subscription services, who do you think is like, you know, do we have any like awards we could give out for these services? Is there like a clear winner? Is there I mean, we know the clear loser is Nintendo.
I was gonna say, can we give the thanks for showing up, buddy?
Yeah.
Participation ribbon to Nintendo.
Nintendo gets participation ribbon.
Thanks for doing your own thing like you normally fucking do.
Mm-hmm.
We took
Thanks
whatever
for not
else was
listening to
doing
anyone.
and just did our own thing.
Yeah.
And Nintendo's over in the sand pit by themselves playing with fucking rocks and twigs and shit. Yeah.
Eating the
They're
sand.
probably eating the sand.
Yeah.
There's that one kid on the swings by himself, just like
Yeah.
why doesn't anyone play with me anymore?
Well, I think the easy answer is Xbox is the winner for these services. I mean, their library is extensive. Exclusives. Whenever they have fucking exclusives, are day one on the service. I'd be curious to know your guys' thoughts on that, but like, do you think Sony needs to add their exclusives day one to compete in this space?
That would be huge.
It wouldn't hurt. It would be a big game changer though, especially to like now that there's stock of PS5 in some capacity. I think that would like extremely like draw a lot more people in because they'd be like, all right, I get, God of War right off the bat. I get Horizon. Like, give them something to draw them in, especially on that early. I mean, realistically, you could get the PS Plus Extra and not have to buy a game for. Yeah. You'd probably end up playing a lot of PS4 games, but if you aren't in the PlayStation universe at all, it's a great place to start. Like,
but I mean,
same thing as Xbox. Like that catalog's only going to grow. Like and a lot of the catalog in Game Pass is also like Xbox One. Right? Like there's 360, but there's a lot of Xbox One games in there, and so you have to build kind of as you go. But with the acquisition of Bethesda and stuff like that, in terms for Microsoft, like that service is already the premier. It's the best one of all of them,
and it's only going to get better.
It's only going to get better. And for Sony,
5-year head start.
Yeah, but for Sony now is kind of like, okay, we've launched it. We've had 6 months after that year mark, like reassess and really look at what's fruitful and what isn't, and if it is going to be beneficial to get more people to sign up for that service, which I think in turn makes Sony way more money overall than people going and buying the game itself, like I would imagine,
especially like on the used market,
I wonder
they don't see a dime of that from.
I wonder if people would be satisfied if they were to add it, because they seem pretty adamant that they weren't going to ever do day one on their exclusives. So like, I guess two options: either it's like the Disney Plus
that's what I was gonna say.
movie
theater to streaming. Like, do you have a 30 or 90 day window where you
blackout period?
Yeah, where you pay for it, or does anybody that subscribed to PS Extra, do they just get like a 30 or 40% discount on all exclusives day one?
Yeah, that was going to be my argument, because like the big thing is like PlayStation tends to have more exclusives than Xbox.
Yeah.
So like if you released all of those days, if you release them all day one, like that's a huge chunk of money for them. That's like so far like half the Game Awards have been PS exclusives.
Yeah.
Right. Like they are all very good games.
True.
Like Xbox has some of those games, but they're not all. But the PS exclusive seems to be kind of like the premium tier games now,
taking over a bit.
Yeah. So I think if you did that day one, like you'd probably lose so much money. But I agree with Jordan. If you did like a 30, 60, 90 day like delay where it's like, hey, you can buy it and play it, but if you're
if you're patient,
games, or if you're patient, you could play it for free in 3 months if you don't care.
Yeah, it was cheaper at the store anyways. Like by that point.
Yeah.
Just think if they had done God of War Ragnarok, didn't it sell like 25 million copies or something?
It sold a ton.
It sold like a shitload right off the bat.
And you're still going to have physical copy sales. Like there's like most of the premier gamers all want a hard copy still of what they're playing on console.
Am I a premier gamer then?
Well, there's just like it's just one of those things, right? It's the tangible piece of evidence that you have that you own the game, and lots of collectors and stuff. So you want to have the physical copy of that. That's still going to sell. If you have the service at the right price and then you're releasing the game 30 days or even day one, like regardless, you're still going to sell a shitload of physical copies.
Yeah. Because people still want to have other people that are going to
play the game. And everything's got a fucking microtransaction attached to it, or like add on whatever. Like luckily some of these great games don't have it.
Shout out to God of War.
Yeah. God of War didn't have it.
Not a single fucking microtransaction.
Elden Ring didn't have it.
No.
I was like, fuck yeah. Like this is what it's about. So
I mean that is,
if you got the premium edition, you'd get like some extra armor or some shit, but that's
which is fine.
Like cosmetic stuff or whatever. I would be curious to know what the retention rate is on Xbox games for that, because we'll use Forza as an example. That was on the service day one. But all the DLC that comes out for that game after launch is paid. So I'd be really curious to know how many people played Forza on Game Pass and then ended up actually spending money on all the DLC, because they do really big expansions where it's a new location, new cars,
I think they released their Hot Wheels.
Yeah. So do they end up making their money back on that sort of stuff? I'd be really curious to know what that is. Yeah.
Because the cheap part of me is just like, no, fuck you, I want the free stuff. But if I'm getting a $90 game for free and I really enjoyed it, I'd be way more willing to spend the $15 down the line.
Yeah, you want me to spend $40 on a season's pass for a game that I loved playing? Yeah, you know what? I'd probably be a little bit more inclined to drop that $40 if I didn't have to pay for the base game, right?
If I've played the game for over a month, I'll put the extra money into it.
Oh, totally. Totally.
Yeah. That's way better than, say, I think of something like Borderlands, where you're like, I'm going to get the season pass when I buy the game. You're like, well, I just spent $130 on a game. And it sucked. Pray to God that it is good.
Yeah. And then we end up with Borderlands 3, where the DLC was just
it wasn't great. Like maybe 1.5.
We didn't even play the fourth one. We didn't get through all the DLC. We barely got through the first one.
Yeah.
It was like
yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
So
that's the only other thing I think that, to PlayStation's credit, is I think they've learned Game Pass has a lot of games, but that also means they have a lot of duds.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of content that's just sort of filler. It's like, look, we have 1 million games. It's like, yeah, but half of them are shit. I think PlayStation is taking that into account, where they're like, okay, we're going to release all of the Assassin's Creed games, right? We're going to take some of our premium. Yeah, we're going to take some of our premium games that we know did really well to draw people to the service, and we're going to put all in chunks.
And that wasn't that didn't happen at first. That's a big addition, right? Yes. And they did the same, the Kingdom's Hearts games are all on there too. Yeah. They've done well over the years, and I was like, hey, this is smart. If Xbox is going to include all the Halo stuff and all the Gears of War stuff, you may as well include something that's premier to you and have the whole run of it.
Yeah. They did Uncharted as well.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a tool online that let you sort PS Plus games by rating and that sort of thing?
I think someone had a list based on here's the active games that have been released on it.
And you could actually filter it based on certain things.
Yeah.
I can't find it right now.
I think I assume someone has done that on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would honestly love to see sports games drop on streaming.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shit every year. Right?
That's just it.
Yeah, and NBA 2K is riddled with microtransactions, and it has been for the last 4 or 5 years. So at that point, you're already making a shit ton of money on that portion of the business. So yeah, you know what? Drop me NBA 2K Don't put a
Free-to-play.
year on it.
Yeah.
And then just update the rosters every season and add in new seasonal content for the people that play it all the time.
Yeah, just
like,
call it 2K
I-
Infinite or something. Just like
2K
I would love
forever.
to see that with sports
2K
games.
forever.
Yeah, Madden
You just take a
and
photo of
NHL
Kobe
and
and you
everything.
turn it sideways, and the 8 becomes infinity.
Boom,
Everyone's spending all
done.
their money. Everyone's
Trademark.
their money.
Yeah, trademark that shit.
I'll take my royalty check now, please.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I agree. Like I honestly don't even know why sports games would come out any other way at this point. Like
yeah.
it literally, you make so much money. All of them. NHL has the pay for points. Exact same shit as 2K. Like any of the NBA 2K games where you
FIFA?
can pay
FIFA packs.
to get your player up from a 65 to an 80 instantly.
Yeah.
Madden has it. Like all that. Just
Well, they've all got those.
load all that up.
They've all got those ultimate team game modes now, where it's like it's basically card collecting.
Yeah.
And the guys
random
pay
chance.
pay huge money in FIFA just to try and get like a gold card.
Yeah.
You know, so
And some countries now have actually like outlawed that shit because it's considered gambling.
yeah,
It's like,
You
it's
don't
like
know the
Counter-Strike.
odds. Yeah.
yeah.
If
OG
people were smart,
Counter-Strike.
they would just put NFTs in the sports games because that like the people are just buying,
Imaginary things that
just spending oodles of money on
Yeah.
fake cards that you can't
Uh-huh.
resell. Like
Yeah.
it's just crazy. So
Yeah.
literally a digital item in a video game that you don't get anything from.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, somebody in 2K did the math a couple years ago where it was like, for your my player, how many hours would it take you to go from like the 65 overall that you start as
Mhm.
up to a 99 without spending a dime on currency? And it was hundreds of hours
Yeah.
just
I
to
believe it.
get there.
Stupid amount of time to grind.
Yeah, like it was insanity, the number. And so like those games are built, if you want to compete and you want to play it
You want to get
like
sweaty?
from an esports
yeah, if you want to
standpoint,
get sweaty at it,
like you have
Prepare
to
to pay.
spend real life money to be competitive, which at that point, just throw it on a streaming service like Game Pass or whatever. And
Mhm.
just fuck. I would so much rather do that for a sports game.
Mhm.
there's still, I'd say they'd still get their money's worth in
For sure.
DLC purchases, if not more. Like I would
Guaranteed.
imagine.
They make most of their money off of DLC versus
Yeah.
Yeah.
copy
Oh, yeah.
sales,
Or,
right?
or even like make a new like seasonal roster update, $5-10.
Yeah. Well, what was it? Warzone made
billions.
like $1 billion in
Yeah,
its
a couple
first
$1
year.
billion. I mean, that was also like pandemic, but
But still, I mean,
people don't give a
still,
shit, right? Like,
$1 billion on cosmetics and microtransactions in a year, and that game is fucking free. So, like, to me, just do the same thing with sports. You're gonna get your money worth.
So just for clarification, found an article from October 31st of this year. Warzone makes $5.2 million a day. A day.
That's disgusting.
So $3,600 per minute. And it's up to it's over $30 billion in earnings.
Yeah, that's wild.
I got intense. I know. I'm sorry.
No, you changed
I
a
started
setting or
yelling.
something.
your mic.
I did nothing.
You
I
definitely did
just
something.
moved closer to it.
Well, it was almost like we could hear your room.
Yeah,
all of a
it was
sudden.
like traffic was going through your room for a
Yeah.
second.
yeah.
That's weird.
It's all Kyle's
That was
thoughts.
really
They're just
weird.
coming out
Yeah.
all at once.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
No, you're good.
But anyways, yeah, this devolved into a very different conversation, but I'm kind of okay with it.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like us at all.
No, never happens.
Never.
We never get sidetracked. We're
No.
always so on topic and so
No.
thorough with what
This is
we do.
very scripted. It's extremely
Yes.
scripted.
Very,
Yeah,
very
totally.
much so. Yeah.
Okay, guys, back on script. So I think we've crowned a clear champion in Xbox Game Pass, but it's kind of like, you know, like the seasoned vet versus, you know, the new rookie that's coming into the league.
And Nintendo playing an entirely different sport.
Nintendo's playing tetherball in the corner by itself.
Yeah.
The ball just keeps hitting itself
in the face.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
I thought I was just supposed to hit this thing and win.
Yeah.
Nintendo, listen to us. Just fucking put everything up. Just put all your games up.
Do it.
Like, I would buy a Switch. I would immediately
you have the
buy
library. Just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yep. But if there's some hidden gems on these services that we haven't talked about, or you think we should take a look at, please let us know, because we're always looking for new things. I know I need to bolster my dad reviews, so if you've got a dad suggestion for me, hit me up. Because
a game worthy of his attention deficit disability that he has. Something that can hold his attention for an hour or two, but also not require him to sit there for 3 hours and play something straight without
and
being
read
able to
dialogue.
Save. Yeah.
Yes.
No JRPGs for
no
now.
JRPGs.
No JRPGs.
Something you gotta be able to pick up, play for an hour like straight, and then put down
Pausable.
and not
pause it and leave.
And not feel like you missed out on a ton of stuff.
Yeah,
exactly.
Biomutant, Kyle. There's no reading Biomutant.
Yeah, no dialogue.
It's free on Plus this month.
It is. I mean, it's not a bad game.
You can also
not going to play it.
You can also turn the dialogue off now. It took a year to change.
Still a lot going on in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, too much. Well, I think that about wraps it up, guys. Thank you for subscribing to our conversation, subscribing to our podcast and our channel, and subscribing to the wild and wacky ideas that we have that Daryl puts out that are clearly wrong.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm just a sore loser.
I didn't even vote.
I know. But you keep putting this shit out there and I keep losing.
It's just projecting.
So again, yes, I'm projecting.
Yes.
Thank you again for joining us, and we hope you have a good enough week.
Good enough.
Good enough. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at GEG Podcast. Check out our website, goodenoughgaming.com, and write us an email about anything from our episodes or something you would like us to discuss in the future. You can also now join us on Discord on the Good Enough Gaming Discord server. We really appreciate you listening and hope you continue to join us on this epic adventure of discussing all things gaming and nerdy. Please subscribe to the Good Enough Gaming podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever else you listen to your podcasts, and rate us 5 stars so we can find more good enoughers in the process. Just remember, we might not be great, but we are good enough.